What's up, you guys? I hope you're doing well. We're here for our weekly anchor message where we get our spiritual lessons for the week. We are going to be moving into our Mercury retrograde, I believe, on the 17th, if I'm not wrong. It's coming up. I think that will be Thursday. And then in the last couple of days, Saturn went retrograde in Aries. So there's a lot of energy right now centered around like recalibrating, recalculating, reevaluating, going through our plans or our strategies and, doing like a... like checking in and seeing if, we need to explore more options or switch things around a little bit. I today had a really great day. We're shedding bad habits. This is what the Capricorn full moon was helping us do. So there's a lot of support in the universe right now, helping us get organized, get everything, tight and streamlined and proficient and efficient and productive and fruitful, and making sure that our energy is being used well, but also that we're shedding the bad habits and like the bad routines that are working against us, that busyness that doesn't push the needle forward. Like we're shedding all the things that are sort of like blocking our forward progress at the same time. So I'm feeling it too. So last night I still felt sleepy times watching Chosen on the couch, but I got up, I went to bed, and I set my alarm for early, and I got up earlier, and I was able to get 2 writing projects into the day and still get, my workout in and the post and sharing content. And so I felt like I executed the ideal day for myself today. I got everything done, almost. I give myself an A- because I didn't get to film and all my content before work. That's ideally what I'm working towards. But for the first day, I did a great job. I got everything done on my to-do list that I wanted to do, went to work. So I felt good about it. Tomorrow, I'll get up a little earlier, hopefully. So, but living in action, giving you guys live, on the scene, workshopping of what this energy can help us do, shedding those things that, ways that we get in our own way. And I've always said, and I've been saying for a long time, if I can get up just a bit earlier, I feel like I can like rule the whole world. And I feel that I'm proving my point to myself. So, but on the other side of that, because I showed up and I kept my promise to myself, and I did well, then I went into work and had like a really great night at work. And this is typically like kind of a slow time of year for us in the July, kind of like early August, because people are off, on vacation and they're not in school, and Nashville's kind of a transient city that way. So I thought that was like a direct kind of blessing from the creator, as like a little boop on my nose for doing my big girl things. So, we're all in this together. We're all just struggling, cute little wretches. All right. So from the wild unknown or, archetypes, the wild unknown. Yes. Archetypes. It just didn't sound right that time. We have the flame. We have Anna Mundy. And we have the hunter. Underneath the flame, we have 7 of Cups. Underneath Annamundi, we have 6 of Pentacles. And underneath the Hunter, we have King of Cups. It's the feminine King of Cups. All right, I'm going to pause this, let you guys hear the audio, and then we'll come back and take it card by card. There's a fresh surge of energy washing over us. But if we aren't intentional with it, we can waste it, distracted and running in circles. We must become decisive, setting our consciousness on being a better channel of the light. We need to practice conscious restriction in cutting out distractions that are wasting and dissipating our time, energy, and resources. Our decisiveness saves our energy and expands our vessel. When done consciously, saying no to the lower self opens up a portal of yes to the higher self. When we detach from what's not in alignment with our soul's purpose, we shed what's keeping us dissonant to our higher destiny. We choose to protect our energy and optimism and faith for what truly matters. In addition, we operate in peace, knowing that what God has set aside for me uniquely is already there, whole and complete. My fully realized self is already within me, whole and complete. It's about shedding what needs to go and making choices and taking actions that will align us with that higher level of self within the self and the next level of life within our destiny. We focus our passion and our fire into conscious aligned action, strengthened by the certainty that what is meant to be ours is already ours, and what is not ours will never stick or be truly fulfilling. It is up to us to take responsibility in aligning with our destiny, lest we resign ourselves to fate. We will receive the amount of light that our vessel can contain. It's our responsibility to build the vessel. So in many ways, we will receive in accordance to the efforts we give. In order to sustain and grow our capacity to hunt, we must build consciousness that helps us sustain our energy and stay grounded and solid in our faith and certainty through the various seasons and changing circumstances. We build upon the rock, which is our own personal relationship with God that guides us, keeps us, sustains us, and shelters us along our journey. All right, so before, when we were talking about Saturn going retrograde in Aries, I do feel recently that I've had like a new fresh surge of energy, but I also feel the temptation to sort of like get distracted and shiny object and, circle the runway and not hone in that energy intentionally. And when we do that, it dissipates, the power behind it. So be extra conscious to guard your flame, guard that fire, guard that optimism and the energy and the passion that you have to go for something, to take action and put effort into something. In the 4 phases of creation, this is what is called an active desire. It is a desire that is powerful enough to cause you to take action and put effort into going after manifesting that desire. The first phase of creation is a passive desire. So it's like you get a spark of an idea and it sounds nice, and it's like you're in that dreamy state where you're like talking about the idea, but you haven't really decided within yourself that you're definitely going to go for it. And then there's the second phase where you're like, no, this is a good idea. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my all into it. I'm going to burn the midnight oil. And so then you're like really excited. You're in that honeymoon phase with the project. You love what you're doing. It's really fun. But then inevitably you get to a point where you just start losing your steam, and it's not glamorous anymore, and it's not a great time. And it's like when you're on a really long road trip through like flat middle America or the desert where there's just not a lot to look at. And you've taken the landscape in and you're like, all right, it is majestic. Okay, now it has been so many hours. I don't know, it's way too far to turn back. Too far to turn back. We have no idea how much longer we have to go. You're just like grinding it out. You've got to get over that hump and like find the passion again and keep that passion alive. Keep connected to your greater why. Why do you want to do these things? What is it that you want to share? How do you want to contribute, to the world? So keeping in touch with that why, the big why, and you might have many good reasons why you initially want to go after something. That's what kind of helps you stay motivated to keep putting in the effort when things aren't developing as fast as you hope. And so it's kind of like the universe's way of testing you to see if you're really devoted and determined, or if you're going to settle or give up. It's the initiation. So we've got to protect our energy and enthusiasm and our faith right now because we've got a long drive ahead of us, essentially. So we've got to make sure we can sustain that flame and that passion, because even if you're just going through the motions, if you don't have a lot of excitement and enthusiasm behind those motions, like there's not a lot of manifesting magnetism behind that. It's like the universe isn't getting a strong signal. But when you're in a state of joy and you're like, oh man, I love what I'm doing, and you're getting lost and you're getting in time and space, and you're in the flow and it's all just happening, that is incredibly magnetic, right? So currently, Seven of Cups is the card that talks about when we get into, like, in its best, highest octave, it's when we are like daydreaming and brainstorming and imagining possibilities and thinking about our options and thinking like, ooh, I could do this, or I could do this, or maybe, it's like when we're dreaming and kind of planning it out. However, this can be a very seductive phase in the process, and we all run risk of staying here too long and then getting lost in the illusion that we're doing something when we're not. Like dreaming at a certain point becomes illusion and fantasy, and getting drunk on light that you're not really earning. Like, it's like when people talk about their big ideas and then they like talk and they have so much fun talking about them and they never do them. That's because they're spilling out the energy by talking about it. You are like, it's more powerful when you have something that you're working on to not talk about it, because what happens is when you talk about it, you get the satisfaction of people going like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, that would be really neat. And I mean, that's almost all that ever happens anyway. When you have a big achievement, unless there's a big award show attached to it, most of the time all you get is a little like, well done from, the people around you. Like, So when you talk, you're getting the payment and the excitement for the thing before ever having done it. And so then you've already wasted you've blown your load, essentially. It's like, oh, I got excited and I partied and I celebrated before I ever did the thing. And so now you don't have a lot of incentive to actually do the thing. So it's more powerful for your creative energy to not talk about what you're going to do and what your plans are. In a practical sense, what happens usually when you talk about your plans? Either somebody starts giving you their ideas about your plans, or how they don't think that your plans are very good or practical or possible. Like they start shitting on your cereal and they start evil eyeing you and evil tonguing you, or maybe they do think that your plans are great, but maybe it makes them feel a little threatened, or maybe it makes them feel like, oh, I didn't have an idea like that. And so then they have passive evil eye by accident. So it's helpful to protect your ideas and your projects like little babies until they are more fleshed out, because then they won't fall under they won't be vulnerable to all the negative energy that kind of latches on to good things. So again, part of the benefit of Saturn going retrograde in Aries is, instead of continuing to like bulldoze forward with all that energy, Saturn is like, sit down, let's write everything out, and let's see what's necessary and what's really aligned and what's really moving the needle forward with your goals. And then let's see where you're wasting a lot of energy and dissipating a lot of energy and time and resources that you could clean up, right? And every time you say no to something, it's like you're pruning away things that are preventing you from being more fruitful. So whenever you're pruning away and saying, no, I'm not going to do that, and you're setting better boundaries with yourself and keeping those boundaries with yourself, and you're learning how to set them with others and keep them with others. Like, if you need to say no to people, like you can't hang out or you can't do something, you have to learn how to be able to communicate that to protect your energy and your alignment sometimes. So Saturn is the disciplinary restriction planet of structure and dependability and responsibility. So, and pragmatic, proactive, very methodical, grounded, reasonable, logical, systematic, dynomatic Saturn. So it's helping us cut the fat, trim the fat, say no, and then open our energy and possibilities up to other things. When you say no to yourself, when you are habitually picking up the phone again, you're also saying yes to another 30 minutes that you would have squandered without realizing it, right? And when you have, different things that are going on in your day and you have to use your time wisely to get in what's really important to you, then you're like, oh, wow, 30 minutes just mindlessly, doom scrolling, that wasn't a good idea to do that, right? And so maybe it wasn't in one sitting, but how many times a day do you just sort of like just go reach for your phone for whatever reason? And that sucks up like 5 minutes at a time probably. So being more conscious about those things, being more conscious about where you direct your, like what time of day you're more energetic or focused than others. Where is your money going? Or do you have things that you can cancel that you're not really using? Are you paying too much interest? Can you, consolidate and onto like a no interest thing? Look at the ways that you are subtly leaking energy out in the different areas of your life and tighten those up, plug up those holes, and you'll be surprised at how much energy starts building in those areas and how much momentum you start getting. So Anna Mundi is like universal understanding of oneness and unity. It's understanding that all is one and one is all, and it's the Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Right? The Lord is complete. God is all omnipresent. All is in God and God is in all. All is one thing, right? And so when we really understand that, we're like, oh, God is omnipresent. Oh, I forgot. I always take that for granted. And God honors our free will and our sovereignty in that way. So we have to ask for God's help, ask for God's guidance, ask for God to be activated within any given situation. So it's like when we understand that, we know like, okay, God is here with me and God wants me to align with my higher destiny. So even though there will be challenges, if I really put an honest effort into like trimming what's not in alignment with that, like when we are all over the place, creates dissonance. And when we're doing a bunch of things and habitually living out things that aren't authentic to our true self, then we're dissonant to that higher self. So imagine your higher self, right? The part of you that part of you in the dimension that's already like aligned with your fullest potential and your highest destiny and your greatest fulfillment. And that looks different for everyone. It doesn't necessarily equate to uber successful. It's just like you at your most full bloom, right? Blossoming in your own unique way. So your higher self is within you. That self that's already whole and complete. Your spirit is that self. It's that self that is untainted by any kind of programming or fears or insecurities or things that we've learned over time. It is not shadowed by any of that. And so this is like that's the self that is your full expression of your uniqueness without any hangups or blocks. Right? So imagine that. Imagine having 100% certainty and faith in the Creator so that you could surrender in every moment. And no matter what life is throwing at you, you're like, everything's fine. It's all working out. And then it's like suddenly it does start working out, like because you're in flow. You are in resonance. And so when we're living in a way that's not really true to us, like imagine that version of yourself and compare the self that you are now. What variables are different that you think would slow down that higher self if they shared these things in common with you? And what things do you notice that your higher self isn't doing that you're doing? You know, look at the differences and see how you can model yourself to be more like that higher self. It's not necessarily that you have to gain anything because it's all already within you. But what we are doing is trimming off and taking off the clothes, the clothing, the consciousness, the habits, the programming that aren't really us, that we don't need. It's like Michelangelo chiseling the David out of marble. He describes it as like the David was in there the whole time. He was just taking away everything that wasn't David. So too are we. We're one with that higher self. With that higher destiny, it's already a done deal. We can rest in knowing that God has set up aside for us special, unique things. Each one of us has our own bank vault, storehouse full of our blessings that are meant for us for our life. And they are not meant for anyone else. They're only meant for us. And they won't be fulfilling for anybody else except for us. And no one else will be as good at being this except for us. Same with everything else. What is meant for you, truly meant for you, cannot pass you by. You will align with it eventually. And the universe will keep trying to recorrect and get you into alignment with what is your true destiny. What is not meant for you, you might be able to force your way to that thing, but it won't stick and it will never be truly fulfilling. And if it does stick, it will just bring chaos and it will never be fully fulfilling and it will feel like a curse. So what is not ours is never going to be right. It's never going to make us truly happy, so that we can rest in that, knowing when something leaves our life or it doesn't work out, great. That's figured out. We've ruled that out. Now on to what does align, what is fulfilling. So when we align as we align more fully with this higher version of self and with this higher destiny, like we'll have more reciprocal results. Like we'll have more, our efforts will be more fruitful. As we put in effort, like the universe will give us back what we put in, right? Now, it's not to say that sometimes when things are even meant to be, we try and we try and we try and things are held at arm's length. You know, there's so many reasons that could be. Maybe it's not quite the right timing yet. Maybe we haven't fully realized something about ourselves, and having that thing too soon will stunt that and will slow us down. But either way, it's like the symbol of turkey. if you look up turkey as like, according to like Ted Andrews, Animals Speak, turkey is a message that you will get what you put in, right? How much do you feed your turkey? That'll fatten up your turkey, and that determines how big your feast is going to be, right? So our efforts to prepare ourselves and to put our best foot forward and to make our best effort towards our manifestations and towards our spiritual growth and our soul's awakening, all of those efforts, they bring light when we put an effort in. They open up portals for blessing and favor to come through. Just like today, I don't think it was an accident that God gave me a nice blessed night at work, because I did something that had been really hard for me to do. And the harder it is, it's like the more like blessing juice you're opening up for yourself when you break that habit open. So when I, did the restriction of getting up early and like staying focused through the day, it was challenging, but it was like opening up all this miraculous energy around me to propel myself forward, to build momentum, and then to go into work vibing high, getting great tables, getting good business at the restaurant, and getting good tips too. So I just feel that right now, it's like the more that we've been focusing on the fact that like, okay, God is behind all of this. God is our creator. God is our provider. God is the protector. And so when we can be conscious of that as we navigate these tests and challenges and experiences, it opens the flow of more favor and blessing and abundance to flow through. It opens us up to miracles. And we are feeling like, okay, reinvigorated to make an effort and go after our desires. The hunter. Got to get at it. And that takes a lot of energy to be a hunter when you think about it. And so we need to be able to sustain that fighting spirit, that hunter spirit. And so what it's going to require is that emotional sobriety and groundedness. So we're not, when you become more decisive and you can own your choices, it gives you so much more like hormonal chemicals in your brain to give you more willpower and energy. It actually dissipates our energy when we are having to make a lot of choices and decisions and we can't make up our mind. It literally empties our tank. In fact, I remember hearing once that Obama, I don't know if this is for every president, but he had someone choose his clothes for him every day. Not because he was too lazy or high and mighty to do it for himself, but because he needed to save his decision-making chemicals in his brain for the more important issues at hand, and needed his full tank of willpower to get through every day. And he didn't want to waste it on making, trivial decisions. So too, we had this issue being dealt with, owning our choices, not getting stuck in, dreaming and illusions and planning, and actually finally being decisive and owning that choice. And if it doesn't work, then like try it, redirect, recalibrate, right? But don't spin your wheels and lose your energy. So too, with our emotions, when we're just like up and down and all over the place, and I can't deal with people at work tonight. They're going to drive me insane. It's so slow. We're not making any money. Oh, now it's too busy. We're in the weeds. Like all the emotional up and down, and this table did this to me. I'm just giving you myself as an example. Working at a restaurant, you get the gamut of human emotion every day. But when you get in this emotional ups and downs, it really wears you down. It exhausts you. It drains your aura, right? And you don't have that energy and the motivation to keep going. So we have to make this sustainable. The feminine King of Cups is like a rock in the middle of choppy seas, but she's safe passage for the vessel, right? Is the vessel is protected from the choppiness of the waters and the changing conditions, the waters being our emotions, right? And the weather of the day, can affect our emotions, can affect the state of the sea. And so there's, all of these birds here. It's like all this kinetic energies going on. There's a lot happening, information overwhelm, nervous system just fried, right? But no, she's solid, right? Solid, grounded, emotionally sober, unmoved, just continuing to do our thing. So regardless of whether or not we feel like it or not, we are going to be professionals. And amateurs, as Stephen Prescott pointed out, work when they are inspired. But professionals work whether they're inspired or not. They show up every day. Even if they sit and look at a blank page for an hour, they show up every day, they give that time. So we are not being emotional or, going by our feelings. When it comes to our desires, we are making an effort. We are choosing with our consciousness. We are being the cause. We are choosing consciousness that adds to our resilience and adds to our ability to push ourselves out of our comfort zone, to push a little bit further, right? And not just settle for what we've already, what's already comfortable for us. We need to extend ourselves out of our comfort zone. And our comfort zone is going to get choppy waters. It's going to be like, oh, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. I'm mad. I'm pissed. I'm depressed. I'm excited. I want to have a good day. I don't want to do this, right? Any number of things, right? If we're having a great day, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to waste the great day. If we're like, meh, then it's like, oh, I don't have any motivation. I'm meh. If we're like terrified of the mounting threats of the life and society we live in, it's like, oh, I'm too stressed. I can't focus. I can't do any work today. If we are depressed and sad, it's like, oh my God, I'm mourning. I'm grieving. I can't focus. I can't bring myself to do work today. I'm grieving. Like, there's always something, right? We just gotta be intrepid and carry on. So we are going to carry on and we are going to hunt, because you know what? You know what happens if you don't hunt? You starve. Think about it. Living in a time where like you would literally, like if you're hungry, you're like, wow, I need to catch an animal. I'm starving. So it's like you still got to hunt the animal or set the trap or like kill the animal. And then you got to like field dress the animal and like carry the animal somewhere and then like skin it and then cook it. Like that's a lot of energy to have to like go after something, to like have something to eat and stay alive. Right? We're spoiled these days. But if we want something, we have to get out there and get at it as if we are hunting for our life, for survival. Because, there's too many distractions these days. It's too easy to never get that thing done that we want to do. There's always a better day. There's always too much to do. There's always never enough money. So, we just have to choose what's truly valuable to us. And I like to think of it this way, our dreams aren't really some far off thing, some life that we hope to live one day. They're really pretty practical. As soon as you start really pursuing that dream and start doing the thing, you're in it, right? If you want to be a writer, obviously when we think that in our minds, it's like, oh, I want to be a wealthy published writer, with like book deals and profits, but not everyone has that experience. And even many successful authors don't make enough to be wealthy. They know how to invest their money and then grow wealth that way. But so, we kind of like get this idea of what success looks like. But really, if you set aside time every day and you make it your cozy, lovely writing time, you know what I mean? Like if you're an author, you're an author. If you're a writer, you're a writer. You could be, a successful published writer and not and totally take for granted your daily schedule of the life of a writer and not even pay attention to it and not really, eat it up. So you're not living your dream. You're like living your dream, but you're not even aware that you're in your dream. You're like, oh, it's all passing me by. I'm not even noticing or appreciating, right? So wherever you're at, if you're an artist or musician and you're not playing gigs yet, but you're writing songs, that's part of the journey. You're a musician. One of the other things that you might start doing is looking for a gig, right? And then you grow as an artist from there, and you're not trying to get into the music business. You just start participating in the music business. You take yourself seriously as an artist, and you approach your music as a business person, and you make it your job, not your vocation. And you can do that. And you are a musician. And it doesn't matter if you have 1 million fans or 100. Either way, you're doing it. You're living the life. You're doing the tours. You're doing you're going places. Like, that is being a musician. So you don't have to wait till some far off day to be like, oh, I'm not living my dream yet. Like, you're living a form of it, right? Same with the whole writing thing. Like, make it each day your delicious ideal schedule and really get into your writing ritual. Make it awesome. Make it as cozy and wonderful and dreamy that you imagine that the life of a writer, like when you imagine that scene where they're like writing in some way that's like the most cozy thing ever, do that for yourself. Even if you don't have like a fireplace or things that you would imagine in your imaginary writer dream, you can put the fireplace vibe on your TV. I do that a lot, and it really works. You got a little candle for warmth, and you got your big fireplace going. So you can make it, you can live your dream now. You are living your dream. You're a painter, right? You're honing your skills. You're honing your craft. You are painting. You are being a painter. The next step is learning how to sell your paintings if you want to. There's all kinds of things. Like if you're, we have people who do other things like fix cars, right? That's a craft. That's an art. So it's like when you're doing the thing that you love, you're living your dream. It's just it's like living your dream on a spectrum. Where are you on the spectrum of living your dream? So that is a way that you can feel good about what you're doing and not feel like separate from that. You feel like it's already there. It's already yours, right? You're just expanding from here. You're not chasing something that you don't have. It's not far out there. It's here with you now. You're just building and expanding on what you already have, right? You're just revealing more of it. So think of it that way. All right, you guys, that's all for tonight. I will see you tomorrow for our weekly manifestation oracle message. Until then, peace.